Airmen. Once again, our National Chief, Jeff Hayward.
Having just caught a glimpse of some of our order's greatest servants, I would challenge you to consider the people in life who have shaped the course of your leadership. They are parents and relatives, historical icons, and sometimes even our closest friends. A few individuals have truly inspired me, and I often consider what it is in these servant leaders that makes them capable of influencing us. They seem to possess this innate quality, some special ability to inspire others. It was during the course of this term as National Chief that I fully grasped the nature of inspiration. I recently traveled to Lewis and Clark Scout Camp, the very place where I was inducted into the order. I returned to try and recapture the experiences that had sparked my induction into our brotherhood. As I walked along the trail leading to our lodge's ceremony site, a flood of memories came back to me. I remembered my ordeal and how excited I was at the end of that weekend to be called an airman. I recall being in that same ceremony site where the admonition was whispered to me, only this time I would play the part of Mateu for a group of ordeal candidates. I worked at this particular camp as a counselor for 4 summers, and I spent years helping out with our lodge's call-out ceremony and other activities. I walked into the dining hall and was reminded of a time when a dear friend, Stephen, lent me a hand with the dishes following an evening Cracker Barrel. It wasn't necessarily a fun job, but we joked around with each other and had a good time doing it. Stephen was always close at hand to give of himself to others. As we left the dining hall that night, I remember looking up at the fullness of the night sky, breathing in the summer camp air, and knowing that the order was born in a place like this, on an island wilderness, because this is where scouting, self-reliance, and brotherhood are forged. Much like that summer night, we have gathered here for a conference to reflect upon this order. Our theme, Chosen to Serve, Inspired to Lead, has a special meaning for this reflection. But what does it mean to be inspired to lead? How and why are we inspired? For direction, we may use the examples of the brothers recognized here tonight, as well as the monumental leaders in our past. One afternoon in the spring of 1804, in a heavily loaded keelboat and 2 oversized canoes, nearly 4 dozen men crossed the Mississippi River and started up the Missouri, struggling against its thick, muddy current. They were on the most important expedition in American history, the United States' first official exploration into unknown spaces. They would become the first Americans to experience the Great Plains, the immensity of its skies, the rich splendor of its wildlife, and the harsh rigors of its winters. They would traverse the daunting peaks of the Rocky Mountains. They would struggle over them and be the first to cross the Continental Divide. And then, after encountering cold, hunger, danger, and wonders beyond belief, they would become the first to reach the mighty Pacific. Thomas Jefferson had a clearly defined vision for the future of the United States, and when searching for a man to lead such an expedition, he looked to none other than his personal secretary, a 28-year-old man named Meriwether Lewis, a man you best know as Lewis of Lewis and Clark. He became the leader of this corps of discovery because he believed what Jefferson believed.